What's up, OTA Nation? Justin here from Tiger Air Gunner. Today we're going to check out my new scope from Vector Optics, the Taurus 5-30 by 56 first focal plane. Stay tuned. Alright, so here's some scope cam footage with the Taurus 5-30 by 56 from Vector Optics. We're looking at a steel target that's at about 84 yards. This is at max zoom, so that's 30 power. Parallax is set at the correct distance. So it's kind of hard to get the exposures correct on the camera, but definitely with the human eye I can see all the impact points on that steel. It's a really clear image. I can see all the little barbs on the barbed wire. I can even see the mesh fencing that I have on that bottom portion of that barbed wire fence. 1/4 inch mesh, I can see the little 1/4 inch squares. Let's zoom it out. So that's 14 power. And that's 5 power. Now looking at the camera, the edges are kind of fuzzy. That is not how it looks in real life. It's a clean image all the way around. No fuzziness. No graying, hazy, nothing like that. Let's look at something a little closer. By the way, that gong is probably, I think that's an 8-inch gong, just for reference. So there's some weeds up front. These are probably 15 yards away. Really clear image still. Hopefully that's translating on the camera. Let me try and clear up the image there. It's as clear as I can get it. Super clear. You're probably not going to be using this power of a scope to be shooting close range anyways, but if you had to, that's the image right there. Definitely a smaller field of view for shooting up close, so not an up close scope. Let's take it out to about 40 yards and pick a target. You know what, those are about 50 yards right there. So that steel hanging right there is about 50 yards. Clean up the image there. There we go. Get the parallax set. Let's zoom in there. so that's 14 power. You can see all the impact points on that target. And 30 power, so that's a little overkill. And it's fuzzy in the camera, not fuzzy with the human eye. I can count all the impact points, see the blades of grass. Pretty clear image. Alright, let's take it out to really long range. That is a scientific term, really long. Let me back out the magnification so we can find our target, and then we'll zoom in there. So we got some cows grazing out here. They're at about 800, between 800 and 900 yards. I ranged them earlier. There we go, cleared up the image. So like I said, it's 800, between 800 and 900 these cows are out there. That's at 5 power, so lowest magnification. I didn't even touch the parallax. We'll adjust it just to say we did there. I adjusted it now to infinity. And let's zoom in, see what kind of image we get. So that's 14 power. Pretty good image there, especially if you need to account for some drop. You get to see a lot of the hash marks still on the scope, depending on how much drop your projectile has. Alright, let's take it to 30. So there's 30 power. Image is clear. Camera never does it justice at this magnification. Alright, we're gonna see if the aim point changes with the magnification change. Now this is a first focal plane scope, so it should not change the point of impact like a second focal plane would. But let's just put it to the test to make sure. Now the air gun that I'm using is a Barra 250Z. It is not gonna stack pellets. This is at 50 yards. It's not going to stack the pellets. Might give us a little bit bigger than a quarter size group, but basically as long as we're in the same general area with the magnification changes, I think that's all that really matters, what we're checking right now. By the way, this is at 30 power, full zoom, 50 yards. I'm going to take 3 shots at full zoom, and then I'll back it down to about 10 power. Okay, so that was 3 at full zoom, back it down to 10 power. Oh man, that's going to be hard to see. Let's try it out though, 3 shots. Looks like it's going in those same holes. Zoom it back in, we'll take a look. Yeah, I don't see any holes in the tape, so they must have all been still right there. That hole looks a little more torn up, so I think they're all in that same area. That's about a quarter size. So yeah, that's pretty good. Then it keeps the point of impact regardless of the magnification setting, which is first focal plane, how it should. So this Taurus comes with the zero stop feature. It seems like a lot of scopes are using that feature nowadays. For some guys it might be good, but for at least my application with most all of my shooting is air guns. I just don't do a whole lot of firearms anymore. It's just hard to find places to shoot. It's a lot more convenient for me here to shoot air guns. Anyways, whatever the reason, if you shoot air guns, firearms, whatever. But this scope has a zero stop feature, and what I mean by that is, like for instance, right now it's set at about what was that, like 13, 14 clicks, mils, whatever you want to call it. And if I want to quickly adjust back down to my zero, if I turn it, let me pop it up to, oh, it already is popped up. Okay, if I turn it, it'll stop on its own at zero. Boom, stopped at zero. I can't turn it anymore. I can go this way all I want, but it stops at zero. And like I said, for some guys, it might work. That might be beneficial. For air gun use, it is not. So what I do on these scopes that have the zero stop is I disengage the zero stop, and I'll show you how I do that. So first I'm going to remove this cap. Let me lock it down there. So it's locked. Flathead, just this part unscrews. Then this whole cap will come off. So now, if we wanted to adjust the zero stop, because not, probably guaranteed your gun is not going to be zeroed where this is zero, so you'd have to adjust the stop point. There are little Allen grub screws on the sides. You would loosen those, adjust wherever the zero needs to be, lock it down. That'll be your new zero. That's where it would stop. Now for me, what I'm going to do is remove that ring entirely. Sorry, I had to get the really small Allen. So I'm going to remove the ring entirely. That way I can go up and down. I won't be limited by that zero stop ring. So they're just tiny little grub screws. There's 3 of them. The tools to do this are included. I wish it would be a feature if you wanted zero stop or not. There. So the zero stop ring is removed. Sorry. Okay. We should be able to put the cap back on. Don't know if we have to remove this too. I think we do. Yeah, this is a little zero stop mechanism. If you can see in here in the ring, there's like a tiny little lip that'll catch onto a spot of the rings up here. I don't know the terminology for all this, but yeah, I'm gonna say we need to remove this piece too. I'm gonna put the cap back on. There. Right there, that was lined up. I'm gonna tighten it down. So we were able to go this way. Now let's see if we can go past the 0. Perfect. The turret still locks in place. Pull it up to adjust. That's nice. That's how I want mine. Just wanted to show how to disengage the 0 stop if you wanted to. Excuse the background noise. My neighbor's up there on the tractor working the land. Sometimes that's what happens. You live out in the country. I'd rather have that than city sounds any day. Anyways, so we're going to do a tracking test with the Taurus 5-30 by 56. So I have the scope pointed at a paper target 50 yards away. On the target are 4 squares or a grid. The grids are 3.6 inches in size, and the reason why is because at 100 yards, 1 mil is equal to 3.6 inches. So at 50 yards, with 2 mils of adjustment, we should be going 3.6 inches. So in theory, I'm going to be doing 20 mils up, 20 mils over, and increments of these 20 to 40 mils, and it should follow along with the grid lines. And well, here we go. I'm going to count the clicks, not necessarily follow in the scope. So increments of 20, I'm going to count the clicks. I'm not going to watch it in here, not going to try and cheat. Let's see if it tracks as it should. So first we're going to do 20 clicks up. Let me get the scope cam going. Scope cam is recording. We are zeroed out right in the middle of the target. And here we go, 20 clicks up. Ten, 20. Good. We will go 20 clicks right. 10. I just wanted to make sure I was going in the right direction. It's a little weird. So that's 10. 20. Perfect. Now we will go 40 clicks down. 10. 20. 30. 40. Okay, just a tiny bit to the right or to the left. That's still pretty good though. Now we'll go 40 clicks to the left. 10, 20, 30, 40. Good. 40 clicks up. 10, 20, 30. I was like, what comes after 20? Okay, 30, 40. Okay, and a small, one more click would have got us there, but I'll take it back down to where it was, so that's 40. We'll go 20 clicks right. 10, 20. And 20 clicks back down should take us to the center. Let's see. 10, 20. Hey, that's close enough, man. Yeah, that's right there, right in the middle, in between clicks. So tracking's good. Like I said, it's not exactly 50 yards. I used a laser rangefinder. There's tolerances there. It's not going to be exact. I didn't lay down a tape on the ground. The printer, it was just a home printer that I used to print out 3.6-inch squares. It's not going to be exact, but for this tracking test, it tracked pretty spot on. So I'm happy with that. Definitely it's going to get me into the kill zone, the kill shot. You know, if I'm dialing clicks, it's going to get me where I need to be. Now, if that amplified over hundreds of yards, it might be off an inch or so, or it might be spot on. I don't know. Like I said, there are some variables at play in this test. Good enough for me. All right, so let's do a final recap, final thoughts of the Vector Optics Taurus 5-30x56 first focal plane. Whew. So I won't go too much into detail on the specs. I likely am going to throw up just a brief scrolling of the specs from their website, and you guys can look it up. I'm not going to bore you with all that stuff. You can read on your own. But my thoughts on the scope. So all my scopes from Vector Optics are nice. I don't have nothing. Let me take that back. I do have bad stuff to say, but I'm happy with all the scopes. And usually the only bad things are not with the capability of the scope, just little things like some of the scopes I think had the turrets weren't exposed. You had to unscrew to adjust. This one is exposed turrets. I can see all the markings here. But on this scope, it has zero stop. I wish that was an option. I don't use zero stop. Some guys probably use it, but not everybody's going to use it. I wish that was an option. Also, I wish it was an option to pick your rings. This scope comes with high profile rings, which wasn't going to work on my application. I had to use the adjustable rings. Vector Optics does offer the adjustable rings. These are the adjustable rings. That's what I was using. And why I need adjustable rings is because on an air gun, sometimes when you're in higher power scopes, you'll run out of elevation adjustment pretty quick. So I like to zero my guns at about 50 yards. And on the Bara 250Z, which this was mounted on, at 50 yards, the point of impact was still too high, and I had run out of elevation adjustment. So how to fix that is you get adjustable rings that'll raise the back or whichever direction, but what I needed it to do was raise the back just a little bit. That way I had some adjustment left, and I can get my impact point right at the 50 yards. I hope that makes sense. If you're not a shooter, you don't understand. If you're a shooter, you probably get what I'm saying. Anyways, back to the scope. The image is clear all throughout from side to side. No graying of the image. It's a nice bright image, not dim whatsoever. Right now, sun is setting and it's still crystal clear, bright image. I could still be out here hunting, no problems. The reticle, I like how it has the thicker lines on the edges when you're at low power. That way you can still pick up the reticle. Because it's first focal plane, it gets really small. But with those thicker lines towards the outsides of the reticle, I can still pick up my target easily. The clicks are nice and audible. I can hear them really well. Markings are nice. I like the locking turrets. It is super lightweight. For the size of the scope, for the magnification, it's really light. And yeah, definitely worth the money. For the price you pay, you get a lot of scope, a lot more than other brands that I've seen. I'm not partial to Vector Optics. I'm open to trying other brands. They're just been my longest sponsor I've hit up other companies. For whatever reason, they don't want to send anything. And for the most part, I've sold all my other non-vector optic scopes because I like the vector optics so much. That's what I run on my own guns. Anyways, Vector Optics, thank you for sending me the scope. Sorry it took so long to get the video up. I'll try and be better next time. Thanks for being a sponsor. If you guys aren't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. We keep growing in that subscriber count. I appreciate that. Thanks for the support. Enough yapping. Justin from On Target Air Gunner. Thank you for watching. Let's shoot some more.